Hey guys, it's 2 a.m. And I just woke up and I actually realized that I do have a story that I have to tell you. This is Strategy Poetry Zimbabwe. We offer you poetry sessions. This is a channel for talk shows, and this is also the channel for my vlogs. I specialize in writing poetry. So yes, all of my social platforms, it's Prodigy Poetry Zimbabwe. So don't forget to like, and also don't forget to share and comment on this video. Share your thoughts on what you think. So, as the topic says, he chowed while I was in the next room working. So here's what happens. This works. So, we got a client and they messaged us, "Hi Tap Media, how are you doing? I am a model. I am also an Instagram influencer, and I need you to do a photo shoot for me." And we were like, okay, that's okay. Is it indoors or outdoors? And they were saying, I want both outdoors and indoors. So we said, okay, for that, we can do that coverage for you for $50 US. And they were like, okay, it's fine. So how can we meet? And we were like, you just tell us of the location and we can come to you and we can do the shoot for you wherever location you want us to do the photography for you. And we're like, okay. And then we decided on the sites. And they also wanted an indoor shoot. And we were like, fine, that's okay. And then the other day, 2 days later, they came back and said, okay guys, this is the honest truth. I do not have money, but I want this photography session because as for myself, there's need for that consistency on my Instagram page. So there's need for me to be consistent. And we were like, fine. So what do you suggest you do? We can cut that price for you in half and we can just work with you with that. And they were like, guys, I don't have any money. And because we have a policy against working with people who do not pay us or who are not willing to negotiate any reasonable amount, we actually referred them to the other people with whom we were sharing, and I said, okay, we can refer you to the guys with whom we work. They are also as good as ourselves, and they can do a photography session for you. Talk to them and actually see if they're okay with working for you for free, because ourselves we can't. And they were like, okay, and we referred them to the other guys with whom we share the office. Right. And a few days later, I got a message from my partner with whom I'm working, and they said, okay, Chakunda, the lady who got in touch with you and they are saying that they need a photo session and they do not have money. They actually got in touch with me and they're coming tomorrow for that shoot. And it's like, okay, how much did they finally say they are going to pay? And he said, don't worry about that. I've talked to them, they're going to pay us good money. Fine. Okay, so tomorrow can I diarize them? And he was like, yes, put them down in the diary, book them for an hour session. Fine, hour session, booked. I've written that down. And I diarized them and I put them down and we start working. And actually, I'm looking forward to this. Because if we're working with social media influencers, that means as a brand, Tap Media is growing. As a brand, we're growing and our logo will be seen and more people will get referrals to us. So probably that's what I thought had been the agreement, that they will actually advertise our brand for us on their Instagram and their socials. So we actually had to send that information. We had to actually work with them that way. Fine. Tomorrow comes. They come to our studios. And it all went well. She's quite a pretty young lady, a very attractive young lady. And yeah, you would actually understand why she is a social media influencer, because she does have whatever it is it takes to be an influencer. Because trust you me, very attractive young lady. And fine, I set up my equipment, get behind my camera, and we start doing the session. Photos were taken. And I took photos. And then it was somewhere around 30 minutes. And after 30 minutes, he then said, okay, you're done. Can you actually edit those images? And I was like, fine, let me edit them. And then I go then into the other room, which is the room that we use as our offices, and I actually start editing the images. And then they stayed behind. I thought maybe they were now liaising on the prices, on how we were going to work together, probably because since they were a social media influencer, they were actually going to help grow our brand and advertise for ourselves whilst they're actually doing their job. And so they were talking. Myself being the one behind the camera, I edit these images because sometimes it's always best to edit images or to work on a project to just work on a project all the way through. And I go about it. I start editing the images. I start actually realizing these guys are taking so much time back there. What is it that they're doing? And I was actually getting to the end of the images of the editing. And I was actually thinking to myself, what are they doing? Because if it is a costume changes, we're looking at 10 minutes tops. What are they still doing in there? And then I'm still editing images. I'm getting concerned. So I walk over into that room, and guess what I saw? They were stark naked. They were stark naked and they were down at it, doing it. And I'm like, yo, sorry guys. I just pretend as if I saw nothing. And I moved out and I went back to editing my images. And so it then got me thinking. I know it's a very sad story. It's a really sad story. It then got me thinking. I know the industry is tough. I know the industry it's very difficult for one to make it in the industry. But is it really worth it? The need for essentialism. I know you have to do whatever it is that it takes. You have to do whatever it is that needs to be done for you to get the job done. But nothing in the world could have prepared me for what I saw or witnessed that night. Nothing, because I wasn't prepared to see somebody having to lower themselves from being a social media influencer, from being a person who, when they put up their images, people look at them and they actually admire. For them to stoop so low to the point where they have to sleep with somebody in order for them to get images that they may use to influence other people's. And it got me thinking. I understand in the field of photography, there are some uncalled for things that we do and we may not speak about behind the scenes. It's apana basari sina shaka, but there is no job that has no its downside. And these are some of the downsides of our business. But I need to understand, what are some of the unruly practices that are done out there by people for them to succeed or for them to reach their certain goals? Because in this instance, this is a social media influencer and they are doing whatever it is it takes. They are sleeping with somebody for them to get images done for their brand. So I'm trying to get to understand something here. What message are they putting across? Or what are they saying? What does this mean if somebody goes to the extent of sacrificing something like probably their virginity in order for them to get a job done or in order for them to get what they want because they can't afford? So the question that I have is, to what extent would you go for you to achieve a dream, or for you to achieve a goal, or for you to get something, to get the job done? To what extent are you willing to make sacrifices Because I understand life is all about making sacrifices. But what kind of sacrifices does one need to take for them to get the job done? Because in this instance, this young lady was actually sacrificing probably her sexuality in order for her to get photographs done for her. So I need to understand, to what extent does one need to go in order for them to get the job done? Tell me, in your business, what are some of the unruly practices that people do, or what are some of the things that are immoral that they do? I know in some instances I speak on against moralizing things, but nothing could have prepared me for what I witnessed on this night. Nothing could have prepared me for what I saw on this particular night. What is it that people do, or some of the things that you've seen people do or witness people do in order for them to get the job done? Give me answers below. Make sure to comment with your answers, and we actually get to chatting about this, and we can actually get to make a conversation out of this and probably raise awareness. Because do you need to go out of your way, that much out of your way, to get the job done? Do you? So yeah, that's the story of how he chowed her while Lisa was in the office working and getting the job done. Tell me, what do you think are some of the unruly practices that are done out there by people who call themselves social media influencers? And do you think we can justify it? Do you think it's in any way justifiable if people go to such lengths in order for them to get the job done? Thank you so much for watching. This is Takunda, Mr. Annihilate. So tell me, make sure to leave your comments and likes below, and also tell me, thank you so much for watching this video. I would really appreciate it if you have anything that you'd like me to talk about next, any topics that you'd like for us to discuss on this platform. Feel free to comment, feel free to share any of your views, and we can get to have fun, guys. This is Prodigy Poetry Zimbabwe, where anything and everything can be discussed. Like I always say, always remember to count your blessings and annihilate the status quo. Until next time, ciao.